What's going on, everybody? I'm Jaby and Lorena, joined by Lorena ABREU. And we're looking at Is the Martial Arts Superstar a Thing of the Past by Nerdstalgic. So, you guys, if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button, bell icon, all notifications. Vote this up. Please let YouTube know you're enjoying what you're watching while you're subscribing and upvoting. Subscribe to Nerdstalgic. There's a link in the description below if you want to click on that link, get the original upvote, and subscribe to him, them, from there. And Lorena, a person who does things that is related to movies. I hesitate to give a description because I don't want to give an inaccurate description because I know that you're very particular about accuracy when it comes to you and representing what you do.
I'm a stunt performer. I work in stunts. I usually double.
Because I was saying that she was in Doctor Strange and you're like, I was there for one day.
Oh, no.
Don't say.
No. Okay, so yeah.
I was saying she was America Chavez.
One of my first big jobs, I had the opportunity to double America Chavez in the reshoots for Doctor Strange. I didn't want to go around saying that I was her official double. She had more than one double, and in principal photography, her other double was actually a good friend of mine named Pamela Forster, who was one of the first woman who inspired me to start parkour, actually. So my main thing is parkour.
Let the record reflect that she was America Chavez and the only America Chavez. So, have you done any martial arts?
Yes, I grew up doing karate. I recently have taken up Taekwondo again, and I'm trying to, suck less in general at things that aren't parkour in relation to stunts like Rex and film fighting.
I like that description a lot. I really like that description because this is terrible, but one of my favorite directions to give when I'm directing a short film or a brand deal, especially with the Chara, is we're doing take 3 and I'm like, okay, suck less. That's it. And I go back behind the camera and I hit record and see what happens.
I love that, yeah.
So anyway, let's get into this. Here we go.
I'm really excited to watch this because this
Michelle
is a question that I wonder as well.
Chow Yun-fat, Jackie Chan. These performers are all exemplars of a dying cinematic tradition, the Asian martial arts performer who transitions into genuine A-list Hollywood fame. In the 80s and 90s, this used to be a semi-recurring phenomenon, but today, that leap seems to be a thing of the past. Objectively amazing talents like Donnie Yen, Tony Jaa.
I really love that he said the leap seems to be a thing of the past when Jackie Chan leaped to the helicopter. That was a nice little touch there. Very, very cool. By the way, fun fact, I got to go watch Super Cop, this one right here, where it's blurred in Jackie Chan's face and he's about to jump on the helicopter. I got to watch that in the same room as Jackie Chan because he did a presentation of the film. He was talking about his experience working on the movie and recalling all of these things that he went through making the film, and then we watched it and I was like, that's crazy. Jackie Chan's in the room watching this at the same time. Yeah.
That leap seems to be a thing of the past. Objectively amazing talents like Donnie Yen, Tony Jaa, Iko Uwais haven't transitioned
fun fact, can I
into
say something as well?
Yeah.
Like I said, my main thing is parkour. I'm primarily a parkour athlete. I've been doing parkour for over 10 years. And a lot of people ask me all the time if what Jackie Chan does in his movie can be considered parkour. And I can tell you, in fact, he is technically the godfather of parkour, at least because Jackie Chan and his movies inspired the Yamakasi, the French guys in Nice, France, that developed parkour in the 80s.
Shit.
They were inspired by Jackie Chan when they were coming up with parkour, and obviously over the years the moves were refined and it was elevated to the art form and discipline that it is now. But yeah, Jackie Chan was played a role in the invention of parkour in the first place.
Gotcha.
So
all right.
He is GOAT.
It's a simple question. Why? Before we dive too deep into today's episode, please be sure to like and subscribe to Nerdstalgic for more videos just like this. And as a side note, today's episode was inspired by a conversation that Dave Chen and Devendra Hardawar had on their Slash Film podcast review of Accident Man 2. If you haven't checked out their show, please do so. The link is in the description. If we're going to talk about martial arts filmmaking taking root here in the West, there's one place it starts. Exploitation, cannibal-sploitation, blaxploitation, Ozploitation, you name it, and there was a river of foreign and low-budget films being imported into the US to try and make a buck. And one of these genres was kung fu films. These were films that were taken, dubbed into English,
so it was your idea,
and then played in late-night theaters in double features. One of the chief suppliers of these films, the Shaw Brothers, had a virtual assembly line factory producing these projects, sometimes multiple in a week. Many of them never made a significant dent in the American market, However, others, like the Boxer Rebellion, the 36th Chamber of Shaolin, and the 8-Diagram Pole Fighter, are viewed as classics and set up the roadmap for American audiences embracing Asian films. However, the stars of these films stayed firmly in the Hong Kong industry, never transitioning into the Hollywood mainstream. Despite all of this, it was a man named Lee Jun-fan, who you probably know as Bruce Lee, that would push the genre from an idle cultural pastime throughout the 1970s into a full-blown cultural craze. After getting his start in America with a breakout role in The Green Hornet as Kato, Lee chose to make an effort to break into the burgeoning Hong Kong martial arts industry, finding racial tensions and cultural bigotry was impeding his upward mobility in the States. This move served him well. After appearing in films like The Big Boss, Fist of Fury, and The Way of the Dragon, it was the American and Chinese co-production, Enter the Dragon, that pushed both Lee and the genre as a whole into mainstream American acceptance.
I am a chain belt in Kung Fu. Bruce Lee was my teacher. Watch this.
From here, numerous performers over the ensuing 3 decades would make the jump. They would all follow the same path. They would star in highly acclaimed films that would then be dubbed into English and released in the US. These films would gain traction, and eventually the actors would transition into English-speaking roles.
See? I told you so.
No, you said wet shirt don't break, not piss shirt bend bar.
While Jackie Chan's career started with humble beginnings, it would be films like Super Cop, Project A, and Drunken Master that would clear the way for his meteoric rise through the American film industry. Rush Hour, Shanghai Noon, and Kung Fu Panda franchise are all respected and highly successful.
At the first sight of trouble, I'll give you a signal. Gaga! Gigi!
You mean like Crane does?
Yeah.
There aren't any American actors who are headlining multiple $100 million film franchises in other countries. This is a deeply impressive feat. Chan's athleticism, charisma, and humor are a globally recognized commodity. You can't say that about too many performers.
What an icon.
This career trajectory would be mirrored in Jet Li, Michelle Yeoh, and Chow Yun-fat. Jet Li rose to fame through the Shaolin Temple and the Once Upon a Time in China franchises. He debuted in the West in Lethal Weapon 4 playing the villain. Mega producer Joel Silver promised him that if he appeared in the film, Silver would cast him as the lead in Romeo Must Die. And the rest, as they say, is history. The One, Cradle to the Grave, and Unleashed followed rapidly. Michelle Yeoh became such a global icon off the successes of Yes, Madam, Royal Warriors, and Super Cop, as she was cast in the Bond film Tomorrow Never Dies. Chow Yun-fat rode the wave of John Woo's film Hard Boiled and The Killer to be able to headline American films like The Replacement Killers and The Corruptor. And yet, today, there's a whole crop of highly skilled, charismatic, and hard-working martial arts performers that haven't made the leap onto the American silver screen in a culturally ubiquitous way. Why is this? First, currently there are multiple thriving Asian film industries. China alone is a $30 billion market. That just wasn't the case 30 or 40 years ago. Chinese movies get exported to other places, and they import films from other places to great success. Additionally, the filmmaking industry in America has very specific remits that didn't exist in generations past. Namely, we used to produce more original films than anyone else. Today, producers and studios are all looking for intellectual property to undergird any of their green lighting decisions. They want the reassurance that something has a built-in audience, a video game, a comic book, or mobile app. These are all more likely to get the go-ahead today than a script with a star that isn't known in America. There's also just not as many theatrical windows provided to unproven or non-big budget studio projects currently. There's less canvas space to work with for a foreign film that could have the potential of breaking out in a major way.
But I mean, with Star Wars, a Star Wars story, which one was it? Rogue One. Donnie Yen was in there, and he was just in John Wick, and I feel like he's been seen more in the West than a lot of the other Asian stars, like Iko Uwais. He was also back in the day, he was in Shanghai Nights. So he's made 3 major appearances in Western cinema that I can think of. It sucks that he's, older when this is going to pop off. But it's like, Ip Man is also kind of popular here, right?
Oh,
kind
of, well, I mean, I'm in stunts and all my friends do stunts, so maybe.
It's like if there's anyone I was going to bet on, it would be Donnie Yen.
But I think the point he's making is the reason we don't have any new emerging kung fu actor stunt superstars is because we are producing less original content than before in general as a film industry in the US. Whereas before, things like RoboCop, a lot of the movies that integrated new actors from different countries that didn't already have A-list status with new stories that hadn't been heard before. We're just not making those movies as much anymore. They're getting like released on Amazon Prime maybe. They're not getting a big budget Hollywood release. Hollywood is saving that for Batman 30 with whatever other actor is going to be Batman.
And I'll probably watch that too. but
yeah, no hate, but...
And you might be working on it.
Oh, that's right. I work in this industry. But it is unfortunate that we're kind of in a vicious cycle of regurgitating a lot of the same things and rebooting every Disney movie that had ever been animated before instead of telling new original stories.
However, John Wick was new when it came out.
Yeah,
right?
no, that's one of them.
And
definitely, I would say the exception and not the rule these days.
But with that, it's become a franchise, and Donnie Yen was introduced in part 4. It would not surprise me in the slightest if there was a spin-off with Donnie Yen.
That would be cool, but Donnie Yen is already a well-established stunt superstar actor. I think the point of this video, the point he's trying to make is, why don't we have any new ones? Are they a dying breed? Is Donnie Yen, Michelle Yeoh, and Jackie Chan, are they the last ones we're going to have?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Like the reason John Wick was greenlit by studios, which is just like a handful of people with an obscene amount of money that want more obscene amounts of money, is the fact that Keanu Reeves is so beloved, he's literally a meme. You know, with anyone else that never would have taken off.
Right.
They never would have invested in it. Yeah, it is sad. Donnie Yen, I would love to keep seeing him in things, but I think this YouTuber is making a really good point where I don't know if we're going to have any more, especially foreign action superstars headlining American movies. I think there's more hope with streaming platforms like on Netflix. You see the meteoric rise in, not that, you know, the owners of Netflix and what they produce isn't problematic and being striked on as we speak, but that's where I think new stories and new actors from any country has more of a chance of reaching audiences and gaining superstar level comparable to that of these already well-established action actors, like you saw with Squid Game.
Sure. Yeah.
Train to Busan. That actor's popping.
Yes.
With for a foreign film that could have the potential of breaking out in a major way, like many of Jackie Chan or Jet Li's early films did. The screens are just slammed with Avengers movies and big budget studio fare.
I'm gonna f you up.
Even Western action movies suffer from this problem. Today, action movies only get a wide release if they're helmed by a recognizable actor. Charlize Theron in Atomic Blonde, Keanu Reeves in John Wick, or Liam Neeson in Taken. These are all widely known and recognizable A-list stars who are doing action movies in between their other commitments. These aren't people like Chuck Norris, Jean-Claude Van Damme, or Dolph Lundgren working primarily in the action genre. To prove the point even further, we have the objectively impressive feats of people like Scott Adkins going virtually unnoticed by the wider public.
Oh, yeah.
Films like Accident Man, Hitman's Holiday, Undisputed 2, Last Man Standing, and Ninja 2, Shadow of a Tear feel like they should be constantly on the lips of action film fans everywhere. And yet, they aren't.
You're gonna pay for that.
Oh, I don't think so.
Simply put, straight-ahead action films aren't mainstream, let alone martial arts films. The action genre has been completely subsumed by the unstoppable entity that is the superhero genre and big-budget studio outings like Mission Impossible and James Bond. And it's a shame, honestly. The filmic landscape deserves more diversity and attention paid to films like the ones we've already mentioned. And yet, that doesn't seem to be changing anytime soon. But where there's a will, there's a way. There will always be independent and exciting new voices keen to tackle the action genre with new eyes. The fact that the one-two punch of The Raid and The Raid 2 didn't jumpstart a whole new wave of martial arts enthusiasm is a damn shame, but here we are. And where there's still action fans hungry for the next great stunt, hopefully that will mean that we'll get a new team of creatives hell-bent on building a vehicle so impressive that it cracks the American mainstream and proves that the Asian martial arts superstar is not a thing of the past.
But it happened. Everything, everywhere, all at once.
Yeah, but Michelle Yeoh, like you were kind of saying,
she's already established.
She's already established.
But that movie did also feature, what is the name of that group Martial Club.
Oh, Andy Lee and his brother.
Yeah, the YouTubers.
Yes, no, I know who you're talking about.
Hollywood stunt acting superstars makes me so happy.
You're right, but I don't see them on the path to becoming like movie stars, at least not evidenced yet.
I hope that for them. I want that for them. I think they have superstar material. And Everything Everywhere All at Once was so impressive too, because even though Michelle Yeoh is a very well-established actor on the international level, I don't think, and this movie was independently produced, I don't think giant, major, mainstream film studios would have invested in her as the lead actress. They would have just assumed she doesn't have that kind of A-list star power in the US to helm a movie without a Charlize Theron. A movie with such an original idea that isn't building off any other pre-existing franchises that already have a built-in audience. That, like you said, everything. Even though she is a well-established A-list, at least in the martial arts world, star. Yeah, what that movie did was incredible.
How do I go about talking about this? Because anyone who's watching this video might inherently disagree with what I'm kind of saying right now. Like, just martial arts cinema is not popular anymore. It's just not. Like, if I follow you and a bunch of stunt people on Instagram, and you see these fight scenes, and it's just like crazy, the craziest stuff you've ever seen, better than stuff you see in movies. Amazing fight scenes, well shot. But they don't get the views of someone like skydiving or something, you know, or shaking their butt. Like, let's be real. You know, what are the things that are popular on Instagram? It's not martial arts fight scenes. Not even, you know, martial arts tricking or anything like that. Like, sometimes you'll see millions of views on a martial arts tricking video, but not often. And so I think that when it comes to this stuff, martial arts blows up in a film, the underlying story, when the characters are excellent. When you have a reason to you know, root for someone in that fight scene. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like people don't care about the crazy, you know, amazing choreography. They care about how they feel about that character, the connection they have with that character.
Yeah, I totally agree with what you're saying. And that's part of what made Bruce Lee so special. It wasn't just his, you know, undeniably borderline unbelievable skills. It was his charisma, his stage presence as an actor. You were rooting for him. You were invested. You wanted to see what he was going to do next. You wanted to be like him. And Jackie Chan too. Yeah. Jackie Chan is a very impressive dramatic actor as well.
Yes.
Like in The Foreigner and even in Karate Kid.
Yeah.
And Michelle Yeoh, their acting power is equal to their action power.
Yes.
In my opinion. And I really hope that somehow we're able to give more martial arts superstars the chance to get there, because I know they're out there.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about the most viewed fight scenes right now, is stuff you see in Marvel films, like the Captain America fight, Captain America Winter Soldier. It's like, that's the stuff that gets viewed because you're already tied emotionally to those characters.
Yeah.
And so if you want something to pop off with martial arts, I think that you have to start with a great story. No one cares about...
Absolutely.
Yeah, no one cares about Kung Fu cinema anymore. And when I say no one, I don't mean nobody. I just mean the people that follow it, like myself or you, we are a very small minority. And in order to get cool martial arts in front of people, you got to start with a good foundation, a good story, and then people will see it.
Yeah, and I do think those stories are out there. Like, I do understand what you're saying. Like, a lot of the reason why some of these independently produced martial art films don't take off, I do think sometimes it's just kind of like, maybe not the best acting, maybe not the most compelling story. You're just watching two guys go and do really cool fights. And like you said, that's not enough to make someone invested in a fight. Not everyone even understands the language of fighting. I thought I was gonna hate Maverick because I didn't see the first movie, and I'm not about the military bang bang shoot 'em up whatever, so I thought I was gonna fall asleep. But they made it accessible to people like me that don't understand that world. They made me invested. I was on the edge of my seat, and that's what martial arts movies need to do.
Yeah. No, I agree 100%. You guys, thanks so much for hanging out. Let us know your feelings in the comments below. And also, with that, let us know your favorite martial arts movie of all time. Mine is Drunken Master 2, or The Legend of Drunken Master, as it's known in the West. So, anyway, that's it for now. I'm Jaby Kuwait. This is
Lorena ABREU.
Peace out.